What is Dental Year? Dental Year is the leading marketing app in dentistry. Created by marketers, this resourceful platform helps your dental practice in a variety of ways. Content inspiration, real-time marketing ideas, tips on ROI with your current methods, fresh resources, and lots more.
Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Buzz. We have a special episode today. I'm welcoming Chris Ternus from NexHealth. Hey Chris, how are you?
Doing good. How are you doing today, Brad?
Good, nice to see you. Chris is one of the managers over at NexHealth. And for anyone who's watching and doesn't know NexHealth, you should check it out. It's an incredible software company and they offer a scheduling widget for your dental practice, along with a whole host of features and products and all this type of cool stuff. So really great. And Chris is a brilliant marketing mind and super creative. So we just wanted to have a fun chat about current trends with technology, marketing, and dentistry. So Chris, welcome again, bud.
No, of course. I'm glad to be here. So just I think a little bit about myself. I've been in the industry working with dentists for 14 years outside of NexHealth and joined them last year and super excited about what we're doing in the space, but I've been passionate about dentistry for almost 2 decades at this point. So yeah.
What was your first gig in dentistry?
So I actually started with a dental marketing company in Northern California as a graphic designer.
Oh, wow.
And ended up loving kind of dentistry so much that I moved my way up and was a consultant for a little bit and then managed for the marketing company that I was with there before moving over to NexHealth after 14 years.
Nice. Well, I like it because you bring a whole different experience and viewpoint and knowledge to this. So it's very cool. I figured we would start off with some current trends in the marketing technology space. And as of this morning, Elon Musk, so last week he revealed he bought 9% of Twitter, which he's owned for a bit. This morning he made an unsolicited bid for, I think, around $43 billion to take the thing private. By the time the audience is listening to this, who knows? Twitter might not even be around anymore. So my question for you is, A, do you think it's worth $43 billion? And B, do you think the platforms even has an impact for dental offices today?
It's 2 great questions there. Is it worth $43 billion? I'm going to say I am unqualified to state the valuation of Twitter. Certainly, I don't think it is, just because it seemed like a shooting the moon kind of fun joke that Elon was playing with the 43 billion. This report I just saw said they had to, like, the board basically was like, we can't move forward with something like that. I think it's all just like a little bit of fun showmanship from Elon on that bid. So I'm going to probably say it's not, but who knows? It could be worth 43 billion for all I know. As far as what I see from the dental space on Twitter is, it's a lot of there's self-promotion but primarily it's advertising to dentists. I don't see too much advertising from dental practices to their patient base. Most people are going to Twitter for news is what I see that platform for, as a place to find news and then a place to shout from the rooftops about what you're reading, to any one of the millions of people who are also on the platform. So I don't see it being too much of a space for a local dentist to find the patients they're looking for. But I think it's a great place to, potentially find dental news from various sources if you want to follow them there versus Facebook. What are your thoughts, Brad?
Yeah, it's interesting. So when I started Dentainment years ago, Twitter was the platform. Like we led with Twitter, and then it was like YouTube, and then Facebook personal, and then business. Like And it's clearly changed. In terms of Twitter for a particular office, I would say if the office has someone actively managing their profile, the engagement of it is going to be key, right? So someone from the office engaging with the local restaurant, or if a yoga studio just opened up, replying namaste, what's your schedule? So supporting the local community, excuse me, and engaging with the local community through the platform would be key. Although most offices don't have the bandwidth for someone to be tweeting or engaging multiple times a day. And to really have an organic following and engagement on that platform, it's got to be active, right? You can't just drop in once a month and expect a bunch of reshares and engagement and tweets. It doesn't work. The algorithm's not built that way. And so the other way you could use Twitter is more of like an SEO play and drive some traffic back to your website. At the end of the day, it's probably number 8 on the list in terms of powerful internet platforms for marketing your practice, right?
Yeah.
Most offices should focus on Instagram advertising, Facebook advertising, obviously Google pay-per-click, YouTube. I'd say if an office had the bandwidth to leverage Twitter, maybe, but in terms of a paid platform, this is why I don't understand the valuation. Now, I get it. Like, YouTube alone is $1 trillion company.
Yeah.
If they're not today, they will be very soon. That is for sure worth it. Google, $2 trillion. Like all these, that's if YouTube was a standalone, right?
Right.
Instagram, that alone would probably be $1 trillion if it wasn't owned by Facebook, right? So some of these, I get the ridiculous valuation just because of impact and scale and revenue they're making. Twitter's advertising platform is atrocious. Their product is terrible. I don't know if anyone listening has ever tried. I've tried to give Twitter money before. I have on multiple different campaigns. It's horrendous. It's horrendous. Like, I would say it's actually worse than Pinterest for advertising. And I haven't checked Pinterest revenue recently, but I don't even know how they're publicly traded Pinterest anymore. Like, right? So
yeah,
that's my take on Twitter. I think obviously it has a huge impact in society and ideas and freedom of speech. All these things are obviously the most so important. But in terms of actual like marketing small local businesses from a pay perspective, it's non-existent.
Yeah, I think it's speed to news is what you get from Twitter. Paid local businesses, not so much. And I think to your point with, the needing to have an active person who's, monitoring that and following up. That's the same that what I've seen with outside of just ads that are being pushed on Facebook. If you've got a great Facebook presence, you need to have someone who's actively working there to work with the community, having that outreach. And I mean, most offices don't have enough bandwidth to control multiple social media accounts in a really bespoke manner. So you got to kind of pick your poison. And I would say to your point, the poison I would pick is Facebook, Instagram. It's not going to be Twitter that I allocate that human resource to.
Totally. So it'll be interesting to see where this ends up. So we agree on Twitter for sure. I think it's crazy.
I think
they like owned it. They back in the day, like Kevin Systrom from Instagram, he was like, he could have sold to Twitter as well. And there was this whole thing back in the day where like Dorsey was really upset that Systrom sold to Zuckerberg and not him, because Twitter basically made Instagram pop. I think it was Jack who he shared Instagram like on a tweet, and then from there the rest is history. And so in a way, for at least Twitter, you would think, like, even though they've been hugely successful per se, they could have been 10x if they acquired Instagram.
Yeah.
And they bought Vine, which should have been unbelievable. They bought it and killed it, which is like, and I think the founder of Vine bought it back recently because everyone was like, why would you stop using Vine? They bought it as like an acqui-hire, but like didn't want it to compete with Twitter. Cause it's like awesome. Like I think it was 6-second video clips. Like that was such a huge idea. And like they botched that thing up. So anyway, I digress. So in terms of other technologies, what are you into? Is there any trends or things that you like to use on a regular basis?
I am just a huge fan of cloud technology. So, I've over the last couple of years, I've just been looking at how I'm utilizing my personal computer in general. And the reality is, like, I've got a Mac that here, because that's what I've got through work, and that's how I do my video chats, is through that. But the reality is I'm using Chrome like for 90% of the things that I'm doing in my life. And so I actually shifted over to just using, they've got really nice Chromebooks, and they're less expensive, typically super lightweight, and you can run around, spin them around as a tablet. Don't have to worry about handing it over to a kid. And if it breaks, oh well, I'm not going to sit there and cry about it, because also all of the information's in the cloud. So, and that's just kind of, I'm seeing that just become more and more how I'm interacting with technology in general. Is I want a screen and a keyboard that just accesses everything, not something where I'm worried about what the hardware is that's driving it. And so, yeah, that's like kind of as far as tech goes, the thing that I'm most interested in. And I'm a little bit of a gamer, I'll say. I play some video games on the side.
Yeah, nice.
And more than anything, I'm super interested in where cloud gaming goes, because it's kind of just had it's in its infant stages over the last couple of years. But I play on that with my kids, and it's been really interesting to see where hardware is being pushed from Google, Microsoft, and even Sony now.
Yeah, that's fascinating. Do you have the Oculus Rift for gaming as well?
I've played around a lot with VR, but I have not. I don't currently own one. So yeah, but I will say I did something kind of when VR was in its infancy. I had my son was 3, and I got him into a VR headset just to see. And I realized it might have scrambled his brain for a couple of minutes, because he thought the T-Rex that was in front of him was 100% real, which was pretty fun.
Gosh, it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. I wonder if like a lot of kids are using it these days. Probably.
I don't know what the install rates are on VR, but I would think
it's not like we're ever going to find out from Facebook. By the way, they ain't going to tell us the under 18 numbers.
No, yeah, they want to keep that close to the chest. But yeah, as far as like personal tech, that's what I've been really looking at is just cloud and how that's advancing pretty quickly. If
Zuck really wanted the metaverse to pop quicker, they would literally sell the VR sets for like $1, or like give them out. And because if everyone had the headset, they'd all be using them all day. The problem is the friction on just acquiring the headset. Like, if you know what I'm saying, like they would make up like long term so much in the ad revenue, and maybe like a monthly membership down the road. It could be like $1 a month, or like a small, just to get the headsets out there, and then all the users, and then the more users, obviously more developers will build apps and protocols and all this stuff.
I mean, that's how I think $1 Facebook could afford it. But if you look at like strategies that other companies did in this space, like PlayStation did it, where they undercut the Sega Dreamcast, I think it was, like dramatically, and just basically cooked it by dropping it so that their first PlayStation was at a loss compared to the other software, just because they wanted to get greater install, so that way people would start playing it. Xbox did the same thing. I think in the first year, Xbox lost on the first Xbox, they lost like $1 billion on just getting into the market. And they've taken a total bath on the hardware that they were selling, just because they wanted to get the installs out there.
And it worked.
It worked. Now Xbox is buying up every video game company under the sun. They used that loss leader to then build a behemoth, and everyone thought it was crazy that they were getting into that game so late. So that's a weird video game talk. Wasn't expecting to get into that on the buzz with you.
The buzz, dude. I love it. But what kind of glasses are those? Those are nice. I like the red frames.
Oh yeah, these are Zennies. They're just you can order them online. It's fantastic.
Cool. So I wanted to talk like some offline initiatives as well, because it's a digital marketing show. You're an enterprise level software company. I feel like talking some old school marketing initiatives would be nice as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And something interesting lately. So I've been talking like, join the Chamber of Commerce. It's like a slam dunker to get a local SEO link, probably some networking opportunities. Well, one of our clients recently joined the Chamber of Commerce just a couple months ago. In the last 2 weeks, he's gone to 2 different events. One was a business mixer, like a networking function on a Wednesday night at a local business. 70 people are there. You get wine, cheese, cracker. He passed out 50 business cards, 50. Okay, sent his pictures from social media. Great content. Right after that event, he texted me. He's like, Brad, great event, super successful. This past Friday, he went to a breakfast networking function. Mm-hmm. Each person has a 20-second commercial. He passed out another 50 plus business cards, and he told me he's already had a couple bookings from the last couple events at his office. And so I'm loving this like old school chamber focus, because it's like a 20-year thing that now is like so cool because people want to do events. And also, Chris, the 180 of that, he's starting to do in-office seminars at his office. He's been doing these for a while. So once a month at his office, he switches. So 1 month it's sleep apnea. The next month is dental implants or smile makeovers. And so what he's using, he's using the chamber to really kind of build community and brand with a certain, professional. And it's obvious that these people already love going to events. And now we're starting to see a trickle more signups for his local events at the office. It's this amazing old school approach that's working really well for him.
I think that's huge. And, post kind of lockdown 20, that we've seen since, COVID is, just such a lighter touch on that right now. Having those kind of in-person events, I think people are kind of dying to just get out and meet someone and interact in that way. So utilizing that personal need to have FaceTime with something and turn that into a business opportunity is fantastic.
I agree. And he loves it. It's fun. They get content. At his events, he orders a lunch from like a local bakery or a sandwich place, and there's an engagement there. And it's, it's easier to market different than better. And it's different when you go to his website. The first thing you see is upcoming in-office events, right? And so people who are on the fence about which doctor to go to, which office they'll feel comfortable at, this is a really nice foot in the door technique for people interested in these types of services to come meet the team, meet the doctor, see the office, and get comfortable. I love it.
Yeah. What are you seeing from these types of events? Is it more cosmetic focused, or are you seeing it being more introduction to the staff in general and kind of just that community feel? Because I know you mentioned the sleep apnea and kind of dividing in among those two things, but is it really treatment focused, kind of the efforts he's making there, or is it just meet the practice in general?
It's sleep apnea is a big focus. Like, get rid of your CPAP machine, get a good night's sleep. And it's like, that's a really serious topic, and also we're marketing these events. We're doing the website and email newsletters have been good, but a lot of his attendees also are coming from a local old school newspaper that gets thrown on the driveways of people in the community every Wednesday. I'm not kidding. He gets it at his house. Yeah. He lives in the area. And so it's like this old school approach. We designed this quarter-page ad for the local newspaper. So he's doing events, and we're advertising in the local newspaper. And like he's doing like full arch cases out of this stuff, like huge dentistry from really simple old school things. And clearly his brand looks beautiful. He's got a great digital footprint, social proof. He's using online scheduling with you guys. So all those things are in place. But I really like the idea of being contrarian with the marketing, especially for a dental office. Do all these things, get the widget, get the, the videos, do the AdWords, but also what other layups can you take advantage of that no other office? He's the only dentist on the Chamber's website. It's insane. It's insane.
Yeah, I think that that's a great point. I think there's, the digital aspects and having those keyed up for offices is huge, because they're honestly, digital experiences for patients are something that patients are expecting, but most practices haven't adopted. So we recently did a state of dental survey, and what we saw, well, actually, according to Health Grades, I believe it was 74% of patients.
By the way, when are you guys gonna buy Health Grades?
No comment. But
I'm kidding. I'm joking. That would be great acquisition, though. Yeah, 74%.
Yeah. So 74. Well, then we couldn't use their stat as someone else's stat. But so 74% of patients are looking to interact with the dental office and book through an online scheduling service, just like they would with OpenTable or
Resi or whatever.
any other. They're basically booking a chair. They want to book that the way they book a chair at a movie theater now, at a restaurant. That's how they want to interact.
Of course.
But only 26% of practices have actually adopted true online booking. The vast majority are still sticking with email and phone calls, and even or if they have an online scheduling, a lot of it is a request form. So they've still got, it's really just an email, and there's got to be a back and forth still with the office, which is not the experience that patients are looking for. So all of that is to say, you can really set your office up to be successful by giving patients what they're looking for from that digital experience, but utilizing these in-person experiences that you're having, going out, passing out 50 business cards, getting 20 of those people interested in, going to get a sleep apnea check. And then from there, if they go to your website and they're able to book that exam, at 8:00 at night when they're thinking about it right before they go to bed, you're far more likely to convert that patient, because there isn't a 15-hour delay in that patient thinking about, oh yeah, I really should go get that exam and that test, and then going, oh, well, I can't do anything. I've got to call in the morning, or I've got to email and then figure out what works with my schedule, versus setting up the schedule to just be accessible right there, so you can get them booked right then and not delay any potential conversion that you would have. So, I'm sure your doctor is, with this in-person experience, seeing some really fantastic results, because they're doing the old school, but combining it with modern day solutions to get those patients in the door.
Yeah, and you nailed it. Totally agree. Here's another thing that's really important about this particular doctor in these events: the Chamber, the newspaper, his in-office events. This is his personality. By the way, we have done more strategy calls together, me and this wonderful guy, than in the last few months than we have in the entire other time of working together. I'm not exaggerating, because he's so engaged. And I got the goosebumps right now. I'm not kidding, because he loves this so much. He loves meeting people. He loves speaking. He loves lecturing, and he loves generating revenue, being profitable. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
And he's like, I think he's looking around going, how are no other offices doing this? Like, they'll send us, oh yeah, he's also I'm subscribed to this Chamber of Commerce. By the way, I'm blown away. This Chamber of Commerce, they provide so much value for their members. I'm like, oh my gosh, they get it. Because I was on the call with the Chamber with him, like making sure we were signing up for the right thing. And so he's paying them, I'm not joking, $40 a week. That's 40, to be included on their weekly email newsletter that goes out to like a couple thousand people in the area. And it's promoting his office and his events. So for 40, I said, just take every, give him 100. He's like, I know. Like, he's doing every week. And so what we're doing is 2 out of the 4 will be promoting the next event. And the other 2, all it's going to be is a smile quote and his logo. That's how the newspaper is also. So there's 4 ads in the newspaper, 2 for the event, and just 2 smile quotes, and we rotate them. Put out the good vibes, and then sign up for an event. And between, like, this is what that adjacent possibility thing is, right? You go through one door of a business opportunity or marketing opportunity, and who would have known for $40 a week? I'm not kidding. Out of all these initiatives, I actually think the $40 email newsletter spend on the chamber, it potentially could be the greatest marketing move in the history of a dental office that I've ever worked with. Because literally he's promoting smile makeovers and dental implants and sleep apnea, like really significant types of dentistry, to professionals in a really high-end affluent area. So anyone who's coming in is like fee-for-service office. It's real revenue. And for $40, it's insane.
I think that that's the key. For $40, like there's no reason not to throw $40 at that.
But we have tracking. So we're looking at open rates and traffic coming from the email newsletter. So this is not like all guessing. This is like looking at Google Analytics and going, it's driving like ridiculous. And we look at
fantastic.
And it's the time we use Eventbrite for the ticketing because it's easy, it's free. They get a QR code. We look at the page views and people who buy the ticket. He had like an over 50% conversion rate for people that go to the Eventbrite link that actually register. It's like quality leads coming from these platforms. So not only is it like very affordable, but it's like, you would think for that type of spend, it'd be like a ton of crap and like one good, it's like very good, consistent flow of like good local traffic from these platforms. And so the point of this is, as an office, like any business, like there's all these things like we all should be doing, right? Like whether it's a dental practice, your video, your scheduling, your AdWords, design, website, but also like what else could we do? Whether it's a strategic partnership, whether it's an acquisition, whether it's an offline initiative. And I'm constantly obsessing about this for my own stuff, the agency and stuff, and for all clients is, once you get experimental and creative and willing to try, it's not a matter of like how much you need to spend. It's a matter of trying things.
Yeah.
You could really strike some gold with this stuff. It's awesome. It's the best. I love it.
That's fantastic. Are there any other kind of because this is like I said, a little bit of a post-COVID item that you're talking about right there. Is there any other things that you're seeing kind of be hits or hits that were great over the last 2 years that are kind of becoming misses now from a marketing standpoint?
And more of like in an office, like at an office location,
Yeah. Like what is kind of falling out of favor with patients and traffic and that you've seen over the
Chris, that's a great question. I'll tell you a trend though, which I'm really excited about. So Instagram is like the platform, right? Like, especially for cosmetic offices, you want to have some pop and engagement on social media. Like it's all Instagram right now. And so there's this term called Instagramification. And it's about like turning a local business into like an Instagrammable place, right? So there's restaurants around the world with like neon signs. I was at a restaurant recently at an amazing pizza place, and like outside, the neon sign says, "All you need is love and pizza." And then you walk in, and there's a big neon arrow that says "Pizza lovers this way." So like restaurants, hotels, new places are getting super, super creative with like signage, and chefs are actually making dishes that are Instagram worthy because they want their patrons every night to like take a picture and tag them on Instagram.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's really, really cool. And once you set it up, it's free, scalable word of mouth marketing for the business. So there was an article in the Boston Globe, I don't know, fairly recently about, they did I think the title was something like, "Is your dentist Instagrammable?" And it was about this DSO chain on the East Coast called Tend Dental. I don't know if you're familiar with them.
No, I'm not, but yeah.
They get it. They're like they get great design. They've actually raised some private equity. I would say reach out to these guys, but I think I don't know. They have some scheduling, but something you should look into. But anyone listening, by the way, this is not a client of ours. It's hellotend.com. It's a really great brand. Like they really nailed it. Right. And so anyway, the Boston Globe article was about this practice because they have some Instagrammable stuff. in the bathroom at their locations with hashtags and stuff. So a big thing for us right now is working with offices, and everyone's different, turning each office into like an Instagrammable place, right? And so, listen, I think neon's making a comeback, right? Like, I really do. Like, and so neon is really cool, and you don't have to be flashy or bright. Like, you could have like a really classy, like white, clean, minimalistic font with neon on like a nice blue wall that like it's not like annoying, but like has a smile quote. So we're working with one pediatric practice. She's wonderful, and I came up with the idea like to have a quote that says, "Children learn to smile from their parents." At her pediatric office. So it's going to be a blue wall with white neon with like a little curve for the smile. And so she hasn't opened yet, but when she does, the intention there is for every one Instagram post we do for her, we get 10 plus of parents or patients tagging them on Instagram, right?
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So there'd be like a little couch in front with like pillows and some ivy and lights. Like you got to put some design into this. But once she invests in the sign and everything, it's done all day long, right? Because if you go to an Instagram page for an office right now, 80% of them have like 2 tags, right? It's all content from the office, which is great. We love it, but you got to tap into patient generated content. That's how you really scale and get more following, right? Yeah. So the way to do this is do it with either a smile quote or a hashtag. That's really a big focus for us.
Yeah, it's a really easy lift to just get what is an implied referral from another patient, like, or current patient. So, and that's, I mean, why reviews are such a big thing, in dentistry is everyone's looking to get word of mouth out there that someone loves their office. But the reality is something like that is just as good as, as a review that someone's going to read, because they're like, hey, this person liked it so much, she posted it on Instagram, threw out the hashtag, and all of those things are going to work together, because that patient's going to, potentially see that. Then maybe they're going to go to Google, check out what those reviews end up looking like. Then they're going to go to the website. And there's like this whole path that, to your point, I think the Instagrammable office is your dentist Instagrammable. I'm sure if we were to look at the patient communication or the practice that you're talking about, that they've got a very modern, sleek feel, and that the patient experience is going to be, something that they're looking to have modernized. And that's where that's something that we over at NexHealth are trying to do as well, is basically make that that experience that a practice like that has, it sounds like done some custom stuff in order to make that experience happen. Well, we are trying to make that just accessible to all the offices out there, make it very simple, easy to scale, and make it so that a patient that maybe goes to that Instagram page is also able to say, hey, I love that photo. Looks like that patient's having fun.
Yeah.
Let me book right from Instagram, even, so which we actually have practices do.
You have that ability for for offices to obviously put the URL or widget on social media.
Yeah, so you can be converting directly from those Instagram posts, from Facebook posts, from your Twitter post if you really wanted to do it, I guess. All of those are you can have a link that goes directly to your schedule and gets that patient booked for a new patient exam or a new patient cleaning. And that is converting those moments where someone's getting that immediate referral from a patient who's going to be interacting with the office on social media like that is just a great tool, because it's an emotional purchase. When people are picking a dentist, they're like, it's right now. I know I need to go get a cleaning. I know I need to go do this. Most patients are looking for that initial kind of visit to the office to figure out if this is their dental home, right?
Yes.
And so with that, it's an emotional thing, which means you kind of need to act when the emotion's highest, which is going to be when they're looking at that, they're interested in it, they're looking at a review. All right, I need to make this decision and go there. most people are going to be making that decision outside of your normal business hours too.
What's 77% of them?
Yeah, I think our stat on that is 73% of patients who book through our service are booking after hours.
Oh, so it's 73. Okay, I thought it was 77. Perfect.
Yeah, 73%, I believe. So I know it's
Nice.
it's 4% lower, but I'd rather keep us honest on that stat.
No, I agree. So sorry for anyone if I said 77. I thought it was 77.
But yeah, so I mean, booking outside of practice hours is a massive win for offices because they're doing it when that emotion is high. They know they need to book it and they just want to get it done.
Chris, it's a no-brainer. Within 2 years, 80% of the offices in North America will have a scheduling widget. It's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. I think you're going to see a huge upward arrow of adoption because it's not only great for the offices, consumers are demanding it. Patients are going to the office. They don't want to call. They don't want to text. They want to book and be done with it and get on with the next day. And I feel like it's such an antiquated process. Now, when I go to a website that has like a contact form, that it's a 50-50 chance of the office even capturing those leads and responding in a timely manner. I was on a call earlier, wonderful office, but I was like, if a lead comes in on a Friday at 6 o'clock, when does that get responded to?
Mm-hmm.
And
what was their answer to that? When was the response?
The answer actually was probably around 7:30, 8 o'clock. And I said, on a Friday night? And I was like, that's fantastic. And then the response to that was, yeah, usually she'd probably log on a Friday night, we would think. And I'm thinking,
so it's a maybe.
well, I thought I love the thought process. Listen, put it this way. Even if it was at 8 o'clock on a Friday, that's 2.5 hours later. That potential patient is out for dinner grabbing sushi with their friends. It's done. You're not going to get a hold of them until Monday anyway. And no offense, there's zero chance they're responding within 2 hours on a Friday night. Zero chance. And so the retention rates of these lost opportunities, it's mind-boggling, right? So this is another thing also, and I want to talk to you on next time we chat is this whole double booking thought, which I want to get to next time because I think it's a huge topic when I want to save because I think it's really huge. And also like open availability, I think is a really interesting thing for new patient flow of like, can people even book? Like where are the openings? And I think there's a lot of interesting psychology to that. But yeah, there's all these little steps of that patient journey from the finding to discovering to focusing on conversion rate optimization. And then when you get them there, like that whole patient journey, there's so many steps of the way that they could just be like utterly wowed of like, this is different. And like, I think we all need to get there. It's not going to happen overnight, but every step of the way, if we can manicure and make amazing, it's going to be beautiful.
Well, and I think to your point with the forms, because like you said, there's just inconsistency there. That's something that we're trying to make just consistent across the board and not just getting that patient scheduled. But if a patient schedules through our system, we're able to send out those forms immediately to that patient that's just booked. And not only that, but those forms are going to be in our system as a monitor, as something that the practice can monitor and see where the patient's at in filling those forms. Have they clicked on them? Have they opened them up, but they haven't started filling them out? And you can kind of start utilizing that to even project whether or not a patient is likely to show up. One stat that I've seen is that a patient is 40% more likely to show up for their appointment if they filled out forms. So to your point, like having immediacy behind an interaction like that is key because they're hot, they're engaged, and if you can send them, hey, thank you so much for booking your appointment, here's your forms right now, you can start to get more investment from the patient because they've put that, they're going to put time into something that they've just done. They've got it already at top of mind. But even with that, to your point, that's something that consistently what we're looking to do is get patients booked for the appointment, get them over their forms, and then we can actually have those forms sync back into the practice management system so that if it's a Friday night at midnight, someone wants to go and book an appointment for Monday the next week, well, we can book that patient, send them their forms. The patient can fill out those forms. We will sync them back into the practice management system. And then all of a sudden, the only thing the practice has to do come Monday morning is welcome the patient and validate the insurance information that they're going to pass across to the front desk. And that's it. They can focus on the patient care and doing the things that are going to, generate revenue for the office versus having to worry about reach back out and play 20 questions with a patient that they're trying to get.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And
most importantly, it's a HIPAA compliant process, this whole forms with you guys, as opposed to maybe a downloadable PDF that someone downloads and emails back through the website or something, that totally a HIPAA violation. So there's a lot of HIPAA things we're seeing also on some other websites where it's like the forms was like a quick add-on or a fix in like a 5-minute thing. And it's actually not only a bad patient experience, and the office has to do a lot more work manually inputting. It's a blatant privacy HIPAA violation, especially when there's not an SSL certificate on the website. So anyone listening, just make sure your form process, not only to give you that 40% lift, but just to protect the patient privacy is a really important thing, obviously, with HIPAA. So
yeah, protect the patient, protect your practice.
Yeah. Dude, this is great stuff. Love having you on the show, talking technology, marketing, trends, everything, Chris.
No, I love being on. So thank you so much for inviting me, Brad. I appreciate it.
Please come back and join us again, all right?
Yeah, anytime.
Everyone, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Buzz. If you implement some of these initiatives, leverage the power of Instagramification, online scheduling, maybe join the local Chamber of Commerce. Most importantly, get creative and have an open mind with new marketing ideas. Well, you'll be a wizard of buzz. We'll see you on the next episode. Take care.
If you're looking for more reach, engagement, and conversion with your dental practice marketing, download the Dental Year app today.